Welcome to an Emerald Gaming Showcase. This video will feature the new medical system and its advanced core functionalities. Let's start by taking a look at the advanced injury mechanics, where players who sustain damage to their body parts will have to focus their attention on applying the correct medical applications in order to heal their injuries. Sustaining damage to different parts of the body requires attention based on the type of injury. Bleeding wounds should be bandaged using a bandage item, such as a basic bandage or a quick clot. Once the bleeding stops, the wound reduces from bleeding to just pain. A red flash on the screen indicates bleeding, whereas a white flashing screen denotes you are experiencing pain that needs to be treated. Every medical item has unique perks and downsides, so choosing the correct bandage in a high-stakes situation can prove to be the difference between life and death. When you find yourself injured, it's important to provide the appropriate attention to your body as soon as possible, or your conditions can quickly become worse. To help reduce the amount of damage taken directly to the body, protective equipment can be worn to absorb a large portion of the impact. Open wounds that continue to bleed when they are not treated in time can cause the player to become unconscious, at which point another player must treat you before it's too late. Ignoring your injuries can quickly lead to worse circumstances than just being knocked unconscious. It is important to know when to retreat to take care of your wounds, or they may soon prevent you from running, crouching, or even raising your arm to fire a gun. When you are shot in a specific limb, the total damage dealt by the caliber of the weapon will determine how much health is lost upon impact. Multiple critical hits can grow to affect nearby body parts. The medical examination interface updates dynamically as you sustain and obtain injuries. It can prove to be an essential tool for a player when it comes to determining the right course of action. With every adjustment made to the state of a body, such as injuries or treatments active, a record is added to the player's examined history, which can be viewed by the player themselves, medical professionals, or administrators. To treat another player who has been rendered unconscious, the first step to getting them back on their feet is to stop any open wounds that are bleeding. This is done using bandages. As the bandage of your choice is applied, it begins to stop the bleeding immediately, and the state of the wound is reduced to just pain. Before moving on to dealing with pain, it's important to deal with all open wounds first. Now that the bleeding has stopped, we can inject some morphine into the player to counter their pain. Finally, to wake the player up from their unconscious state, a shot of adrenaline through an epinephrine auto-injector is required. This should be enough to deal with all the problems caused by the gunshot wounds, and the player should begin to awaken shortly. It's important to remember that medication doesn't take effect as soon as the action is completed. Depending on the severity of the patient, some doses may not even be active for a couple of minutes. This is a crucial piece of information that should be accounted for when determining exactly what drugs should be administered in what quantity. Once a drug enters a player's system, it sticks around for a while before the effects wear off entirely. If you're not careful when treating a patient, it is completely possible for them to begin overdosing. Not to worry, we can totally treat that too. If you happen to be the unlucky paramedic who puts someone into a coma from overdose, IV fluids can be attached to the player via drip to flush all active drugs out of their system. Over time, the fluids will begin to overpower the morphine and adrenaline from the epinephrine. This is a longer process. Just like it takes time for drugs to take effect, it will take twice the duration for fluids to begin clearing a player's body of all active effects. The medical system has an expansive range of qualities that can enhance your role-playing experience. One such feature is dynamic fall damage. Obtaining damage to your health from falling will act differently and apply a variety of conditions based on the current body state and the height of the fall. Keep your body treated right and healthy so you can regenerate health over time. Other perks of a healthy body range from taking decreased initial damage to fighting through pain without the need for morphine.